Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she, her, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new recent release video. The first book on this list is called The Invisible Boy. This book is middle grade contemporary and there's a huge trigger warning on this book for child labor trafficking because it's about a young girl who figures out that her neighbor is a victim of child labor trafficking. I really enjoyed this book because I thought it was so well done. I think the author did a great job tackling this hard, heavy topic through the perspective of a young, curious, innocent person who didn't really understand what is really going on, and it was just really well done. I love this trope of having a really heavy topic through the perspective of a young, innocent child. I don't know if that makes any sense, and I don't know if that really constitutes as a trope, but it kind of reminds me of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas and other books like that, because I think that it really makes the topic so much more real and so much more like emotionally touching and important, if that makes any sense. Essentially, I thought that Nadia's perspective worked so well in this story. I really enjoyed it. The plot was so thrilling and it was so intriguing and it was done so well. This author is so talented and she clearly did her research because this book was done so well. I really thought that she did a great job talking about this topic without sugarcoating it or sweeping it under the rug or anything like that. So that was really well done. Like I said, the plot was so intriguing and it was so thrilling. And Nadia is such a wonderful, curious, innocent person, and she's such a wonderful, well-developed character. So with that, I highly recommend this book because I ended up rating it 4 stars. So there's that. The next book on this list is called Pebbles Rules for Secret Sleuthing. This book is also middle grade contemporary and it was so good. It follows a young queer girl as she investigates a shocking family secret. This book is absolutely so good. First of all, the plot was so thrilling and it was so intriguing, and I had no idea what would happen next. Pebble is such a wonderful, well-developed, distinct character, and I really enjoyed how her sexuality wasn't the main plot of the story, because I think it's really important, especially for young queer people, to have stories like this that exist where the sexuality element isn't the main plot, but it's still talked about and it's still really important, and it's just as important as the main plot of the story. You know what I mean? Even those stories where sexuality is the main part of the story, stories like this are also just as equally important. I don't know if that makes any sense, but essentially this story was so well done. I really enjoyed Pebble's sapphic representation. I really enjoyed all the other characters in this story as well. The friend group created in this story was so supportive and just so accepting, and it was so well done. One of Pebble's friends is transgender, so we love that representation, and he was such a wonderful, well-developed, distinct character. All the characters were. The story is so good and it's so well done. All the characters were such well-developed, distinct characters. The plot was so intriguing and it was so wonderful. Pebble was so great. So essentially, I really enjoyed this book because it felt so wholesome and just so wonderful and lovely, so I rated it 4 stars. I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Ship We Built. This story is also middle grade contemporary and there's a huge trigger warning on it for sexual abuse. So please be wary of that. It is a little bit more implied than graphic, but it still exists. So that's why there's a trigger warning on it. This story, like I said, is middle grade contemporary and follows a young transgender boy in 1997, and his friendship through his neighbor helps him become wholeheartedly himself. This story is so good. It is excellent. It is so absolutely so amazing. First of all, I loved the representation shown in Rowan's perspective because it's done so well. Rowan is such a wonderful, emotionally touching, well-developed, distinct character. This book is so good. It is so good and it's so underrated. And for what I absolutely loved as well, the plot of the story is so well done. The format of the story is also so good and it's so lovely and it's so wonderful. This book is so good. It's absolutely so amazing. I rated it 5 stars because there's nothing that I would change about this story. It made me cry towards the end because it's so wonderful and so lovely, and I know there's so many young transgender people out there, or even older transgender people, who could really resonate and relate to this story because it's so well done. It's so tender and raw and wonderful and realistic and so well done. I even enjoyed all the little like historical elements to the story that really made it come to life so much more because, like I said, it's set in 1987, so we love to see it. I suppose that's technically making this story contemporary historical fiction since it's set in 1987 and the 90s are technically considered history. I wouldn't know because I'm not a 90s kid. I was born in 2001. But anyway, the point is, this book is so good. It's so amazing. It's so wonderful. And I really, really enjoyed it because it's done so well. So with that, I absolutely really loved this book. So with that, I highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list I also rated 5 stars, and it is The Other Side of Perfect. This story is YA contemporary, and I absolutely really enjoyed it. It follows Alina, and after a devastating injury, changes her ballet career. She's almost forced to move on and understand the different sides of something that she was so passionate about before, which includes her really recognizing the racism in the dance industry. This story is so good. Like I said, I rated it 5 stars, which means that I loved every single element of the story. This book made me cry like 3 different times because this story is so good. First of all, Alina is such a wonderful, strong main character, and I loved her. This book deserves just as much hype as any of Akemi Dawn Bowman's books, which you guys know is a very high compliment because I love her books. This book is so good. The plot is so intriguing and it's so thrilling. Alina's character development is so wonderful and lovely to see. The romance and the friendships developed in this story, from the beginning to the end, are so lovely and so wonderful. I just really enjoyed them. All the characters developed in this story were so well done and so distinct. Alina is such a wonderful, strong, badass main character, and I love her. She is so wonderful and so lovely, and I loved her growth so much. There was nothing about this story that I didn't like, and that's why I rated it 5 stars. This book is so perfect. It is impeccable. It is so good, and it's literally a piece of art. This book is so excellent, and it's so amazing, and I absolutely really loved it. So with that, I highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Shape of Thunder. This book is middle grade contemporary and it's so good. I ended up rating it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. It follows a pair of former best friends who are both grieving in their own ways because Quinn's brother caused the death of Cora's sister. So that's fun. This book is so good. I knew that it would be though because I've read Other Worlds for Home by Jasmine and Warga ages ago, and that book is so good. So I had really high expectations for this book, and it definitely met those expectations. However, I will say that it did not exceed those expectations, and I do prefer Other Worlds for Home. However, this book was so good. Jasmine's writing is so well done. Cora and Quinn are both such wonderful, well-developed, distinct characters that I really enjoyed. And I also really enjoyed their dynamic between them. This book was so good. I really enjoyed how the author explored grief and how it can be different depending on your relationship with the person that had died. So anyway, this story was so good. I really enjoyed the 2 well-developed, distinct characters. The plot was so intriguing. It was so thrilling. I really enjoyed how the girls' friendship developed over time after such a tragedy. This book is so good, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I rated it 4 stars, so I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Thanks a Lot Universe. This book is middle-grade contemporary, and it follows 2 boys, Brian and Ezra. Brian is dealing with social anxiety that has only gotten worse after he and his brother were placed in foster care. and Ezra is dealing with how his friend group is changing over the years, as well as questioning his own sexuality. This book is so good. Both perspectives were written so well, and both characters were such well-developed, distinct characters, and I really enjoyed their friendship. This author tackled so many things so well. He tackled foster care, mental health, and sexuality, and he did such a great job with each of them without sugarcoating any of them or like emphasizing one over the other. This book is so good. The plot was also so intriguing, and it was so well done. I really enjoyed both character perspectives because they each added something new to the story, and I really enjoyed their friendship dynamic. I love it. This book was so good, and it's definitely worth all of its hype and so much more, and I really enjoyed it, like I said, because the author did such a great job with it, and I will gladly read more books by him in the future because this book was so good. So with that, I would highly recommend this book because I rated it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. So in conclusion, my 2 favorite books on this list were The Other Side of Perfect and The Ship We Built, because those are the only 2 books on this list that I rated 5 stars. However, I rated all the other books on this list 4 stars, so I recommend all the books on this list. But more importantly, in the description box below, there are links to videos that you can watch where if you don't skip through any of the ads, you will be donating to the Palestinians, because even though I don't really understand what's been happening or why it's happening, I do know that I stand with the Palestinians because they should not be dealing with all of the death and oppression and genocide that has been happening for so long. So yeah, I do know that I should have said this at the beginning of this video, and I apologize for that. But yeah, there's that. Please go donate. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the strawberry emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video.